Graphic design trends for 2020. Here is what is going to change. There are a lot of things that are happening in 2020, and it's going to continue. The trends are going to continue to be there in the year 2021 and beyond. So, what are those kinds of say particular trends that are expected to boom this year, next year, and the forthcoming, say years, upcoming years for that matter. So the first one I would like to talk about is 3D depth and realism. So you'd have seen a lot of, softwares that are being used by graphic designers to create 3D graphics. And the creative designers often combine it with greater realities, such as even placing 3D graphics in a 2D picture. That really works wonders. Now, in order to achieve that particular attribute, they might be using software like Plotagon, Movie Storm, etc. And they would create, a scene where there's 3D characters, and using those 3D characters, they would actually take a screenshot of their finished design in order to give a 3D depth and realism to the design. Correct? So awesome 3D graphic compositions can be managed through that. The second one we are going to talk about is the monochrome trend, guys. Okay, this has evolved into a greatest simplified version now. Okay, so monochrome color filter is now being widely used in photos or partial elements in a graphic composition. So a monochrome color effect would be something which is kind of different. Okay, so some of the effects even involves say metallic design, and then they convert it to monochrome. So some of the designers right now are using say gold, color of gold, which conveys luxury, class, and great taste. Then say when it comes to the typography, many of them are using tools in Mac, and tools online, tools that would help to create a lot of typographic designs which look like 3D designs, and different kinds of calligraphy based designs which are having heavy fonts, lettering, and these are kind of flooding the graphic design industry. And the edges are different, the shapes are different, right? So see, it can be, the shapes can be two-dimensional or three-dimensional, but what they're doing here is they are changing 3D objects in some places. They're changing words in some places, and sometimes they're having a shape in the form, for example, shape in the form of letters. For example, if I tell you, if I talk to you about the object stairs, okay, or a bottle, or it can be a car, in the same shape of a car, the text is seen, right? In the same shape of a bottle, the text can be seen. In the same shape of a stairs, the text is seen. Now, all this stuff would amaze the learner, or amaze the viewer out there. It would also amaze the learner if you are able to convey an infographic in that particular uh, instance. It would also turn out to be an educational drawing, but most probably they're using this to create a wow factor among the audience. So in fact, promotional, this one works wonders here. So people are creating flyers, or they're creating a lot of other kind of content like brochures, etc., to promote their brand, right? Some are also using GIF or GIF, or whatever you call it, kind of GIF kind of say movable images, which are pretty amazing too. So image doesn't remain static. Then some are also using text masking. So that also is kind of great art attribute in terms of achieving a mysterious and minimalistic look to achieve a desired effect with text masking. uh, Looks quite modern in 2020, 21, etc. So what I believe that the biggest graphic trends for the next years 2021 and beyond will be line art, guys. So line art, kind of a schematic simplified illustration style, but they could do a lot with line art. And nowadays we have technologies, uh, even to create line art uh, in different sketch related tools. And whiteboard videos are hitting the market by storm. So tools like video scribe, and one more tool which I know about it, which is very amazing, is called as Doodly, Doodly, and then we have Movely, Moovly. Very good to achieve a great whiteboard effect on a video. And one more amazing, say what do you call as um, say doodling illustration effect can be achieved through using tools like template based uh, elements. Okay, so people buy a lot of templates and then they edit that in pages or MS Word or MS PowerPoint, etc. So some have doodle templates out there with the doodle illustrations, correct? It can achieve a great informal, personalized, handcrafted, fun feeling that it could give to the composition. Then illustrations, which are really good, will take charge in the next years, where artificial intelligence technology can automatically create illustrations and poses from a picture. So, for example, if you have a woman walking on a road kind of illustration that you want to create, so you just type in a woman walking on a road. It's kind of a text that you will like to type in there in the artificial intelligence tools, which are the upcoming tools, maybe in 2022 or 2023 and beyond. And the text is converted to an image. Now it's going to completely draw an image based on whatever you have typed. The machine learning algorithms are going to be very strong. Okay, then once it draws an image, it's going to classify that object or that character out there. So if you take it as a woman, if you take it as a road, so it's going to classify the objects. Now then you can just the classification would come in the left hand corner, and then you can change certain attributes. Maybe you want the road color to be dark, or the woman should wear a scarf, or you can play around with the weather, the time of the day. Maybe it's raining, maybe it's a sunny day, maybe it's quite it's maybe it's a started off, she's going on a walk, right? Like dawn or any other nighttime, for that matter. uh, so you can definitely go ahead and customize the time of the day, maybe the FX, right? You can definitely do that. The closest that we could get to this is a tool called as Pixton. It's an amazing tool. Pixton helps you to create a lot of comics, storyboard, and graphic novels. uh, and you can just customize everything. You can pick characters, you can choose the weather, you can add FX, you can convert into videos, right? So it's very good. So yes, as I was talking about, biggest tools that will come in. So once you get that picture of that from text, it should convert. That is the ultimate thing. So once it converts, it draws and all the stuff automatically, picking your mouse cursor and you know sketching out or illustrating the finest drawing that it could create. Once that is completely done, now you got to choose a format of the drawing, be it a whiteboard or a line art kind of drawing, or a sketch, or a watercolor, or an illustration, or whatever it is. So you got to choose what kind of, say, maybe it's a painting, or what kind of a format that you would want that particular drawing to be in. So you got to choose that particular format at the end. Okay, so that would be kind of a mind-blowing thing where AI could actually convert a text to a drawing. It can be even a three-dimensional object in the future if it has. So it can create a 3D version of the woman walking on the road, or maybe a 2D version of the woman walking on the road, like a cartoon. So all this stuff are in the future, a text to typical image conversion, or a creation, automatically picking the mouse cursor and illustrating whatever that you typed in, is the future. Okay, so right now you can use tools like Pixton, you can use Vyond, VYOND, to Vyond tool to actually look at character poses and all this stuff. Right now in today's market, Vyond helps you to create a lot of animations in 2D. Okay, so some are also using the vintage effect, they call it. Okay, vintage. The next point I want to stress about is a vintage effect, where graphic designers are creating compositions that convey the home feeling of the 1950s or the 1960s designs. Okay, it's kind of a retro design that they're right now going ahead and doing a lot of magic in designing that. Even when it comes to the patterns and textures, uh, which is pretty amazing in terms of using the right stuff, the right patterns matters. Some of the designs they're using are geometric designs. Okay, geometric designs are using geometric shapes to actually start designing, and that is also pretty amazing. Okay, liquid design is also a great 10. They can go ahead and look at a picture that is kind of what do you call as done in liquid design. That also is pretty good. And what I would like to tell you is the mixed media is also on the rise. So mixed media is something like what you call as using kind of a approach where the graphic designers actually play with texture, volume, and analog materials in kind of a collage, using three or more styles together in a particular picture is also helpful in that regard. Okay, and so digital painting is something which can completely change the world. There are tools like Procreate and Adobe, say Fresco. It allows Fresco, Fresco. This allows hobbyists to paint like a pro. So, in the next few years, we would predict to see traditional painting effects such as watercolor, oil painting being created digitally and being used for a wide range of work, from advertising, posters, and packaging. Clay illustration is playing a huge factor here. In the next point of me, of graphic design, which I'm going to talk to you about, is 3D clay illustration. That is also a great, say, stuff which looks different, which looks fantastic out there. Another one which I like to talk to you about is overlapping effects. Overlapping elements together can create a whole composition, which is very challenging and visually more engaging. Okay. And I think machine learning would completely change the world. For example, tools like Adobe Sensei, which are coming up with the great features for its Creative Cloud products, right? Uh, and there are tools like Image Tango that are on the rise for generating Image Tango, guys, Image Tango, for generating new images from a reference photo. So if you give a particular reference photo, it can actually generate new images based on that particular reference photo, and it can even create, say, unique light conditions on your photos. And it's pretty amazing. It can generate a lot of images in different poses out there. Okay, so these are really good in terms of even looking at light effects on images, rise of soft lights and pale color palettes. All of these are being used by the top graphic designers in the world. And some are also looking at eco-friendly graphics. Eco-friendly graphics is kind of a great experiment that proposes a more ecological branding design. For example, some ink from a logo printing or an energy consumption. Say, using economic colors, that this would matter, right? Ink from logo printing, energy consumption for say digital interfaces, would use colors which can be black or green, right? So this would help to transform a brand into an eco brand without losing its identity. Font distortion is also something which we'll like to look at if you note it down. So font distortion is to distort those images, uh, distort the images to create an unusual look. So some text would be, say fat, look fat. Some text would shrink. Some text would be stretched, right? So creating a distortion is also a thing that is happening in the industry. Animated layouts also are something which should be looked at. Horizontally sliding text is something kind of a new phenomenon that's happening. So that also is a horizontally scrolling text on websites for display ad campaigns is a trend that is happening in 2020, 2021. It should boom. Instead of using old style vertical parallax, horizontal text scrolls like you see in the news channels, right, that would gain a lot of attention for your graphic. Dark interfaces is something happening in the apps out there, in the mobile apps. People are using the dark version of certain things. So maybe people think it's not a very smart, UX choice, because interface, say when you turn to black, it loses the quality of the design, but it's still a trend that is happening. Okay. Sketch, turning a normal, say an image into a work of art. Tools like Prisma are really good for that, and some of them have been doing really good. And kinetic typography is also a kind of a great attribute. Kinetic typography, we have seen a lot of tools and apps rise in this field. I mean, in this specialist field in the area of graphic design. But a new format, I think, would would completely change the facet of graphic design. Which format? If you ask me, I'll talk to you about sketch over image. So sketch over image is actually generating a digital sketch over an image, recreating the background shape as an outline, and sometimes shifted, sometimes, it can be overlapping. So it's like tracing kind of thing. And that also plays a crucial trend. Then, say handmade illustration still might you know rise. The trend of handmade illustration, use of fonts and designs made by hand, it is okay. This will give any image a unique feel that's going to make it stand out from the crowd. It can range anywhere from a simple material design. It can go up to images being worthy of even hanged on your wall, for that matter. You'll always be one step ahead of any other brand if you're thinking of using handmade illustrations in 2020, 2021, 2022, and beyond. People in typography use bold types. Fluid shapes are part of this. Neon colors have come, in existence. Uh, you would have seen, neon colors. This expresses the excitement and concerns of modern society about artificial intelligence. Neon colors, you would have seen neon colors in different designs out there, and it's also pretty good for visual games, etc. The banners for those visual games can be showcased in neon colors. And I think whatever design that you do should be adaptive, readable, engaging. Whatever say kind of technology trend that you're going to leverage, changes keep on coming. The change in trends are showing up every day, but you have to stay in touch with the latest trends so that nothing is outdated, for that matter. Designers like you have to pay more attention, update yourself, and try to inspire people, and each and every one who are actually witnessing your design to actually explore the latest trends in your design. They should see something that is not there anywhere else. They should see something that speaks uniquely about your design. Then only you're going to win. That even Michael Jordan told, if you're trying to achieve, there'll be roadblocks in this, right? So he has had it. Everybody has had them, right? Uh, but obstacles should not stop you. He says, if you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work about it. Work around it, right? So that's how say you will have to set yourself apart, and leverage the greatest technology to create the greatest and the best of all designs. And who knows, your design might be the winning one after all.